and believe it or not, it's almost tax time. So it's time to collect those W-2s and receipts. Brad Huffman is a certified financial planner with Future Finances. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so April 15th sounds like a world away.
Not really.
It's not.
No, it isn't, unfortunately.
What do we need to do this morning to get ready for that day?
Well, first is recognize that it's not that far away. I think we all in our mind say, oh gosh, let's worry about it later. And then what happens, procrastinate, and then rush. So here's an opportunity. I kind of look at it, it's a pre-game. Okay, we can't play the game yet because we can't file. But here's an opportunity to get organized, get things where they need to go, and be prepared for that next step.
What do you think are some of the biggest deductions that people forget when it comes to filing?
I think there's a couple. A lot of people don't necessarily check to see if they should be itemizing. They generally will say, okay, I'm just going to take the standard deduction. So if you have high healthcare expenses, if you do a lot of charitable contributions, mortgage interest, real estate taxes, take the time to do it. I've seen people who just haven't bothered. Oh, it's not an issue. Now, the standard deduction has gone up, so it's not a factor, but pay attention to that. If you have daycare costs, those are things that you want to take credit for. One that's probably overlooked because it's somewhat small, if you have a Ohio 529 plan, there's actually a credit for contributions you make to that plan. So if you have a couple kids, you're saving for college, you're using Ohio's plan, you can save about $100 to $200 per kid if you're maximizing the plan.
There's a lot of details.
Yes.
So, of course, you could always go with a CPA or a tax software like TurboTax.
Yes.
Is one better than the other?
It depends, I think. This is the time for you to decide what you want to do. If you feel pretty confident, you have a pretty simple tax return, I don't see a problem with the software. Now, you can even do it without buying the software, go right to the IRS's website. Problem is it's not as intuitive as the software is. So the software is designed to be simple. If I say yes to this, it's going to ask me about this because it knows probably I need to address this. So the software is great. If you have a more complex return, let's say you have a lot of investments, you have rental property, you have a small business, now maybe I'm thinking talk to a professional because there could be some special deductions and income declarations that you need to get right, or Uncle Sam's going to send you a love letter, and you don't necessarily want that kind of love letter.
No one wants to see that from Uncle Sam.
No, not at all.
How much time should it take to prepare all of your material? Because every year around March, I have all these papers scattered on the floor, and it takes me a couple hours. Is that normal? It
really shouldn't take all that long. The good thing is, generally speaking, what you need to put up, you're going to get something in the mail for. So you're going to get the W-2, or maybe you have to download it. You're going to get mortgage interest statements. The hardest part, in my view, is going to be that itemized deduction components. If you do charitable, you have the receipts, you got to add them up. If you're going to do the medical, and most people aren't going to do medical because it has a pretty high hurdle. But that should be, I would say, really no more than a couple hours at most. Now, again, you could do an hour now, maybe, get those things organized, and then when you file, type the numbers in, and you're done. Or if you're working professional and they're really nice, give them the stack of crap. Let them deal with that. So,
what would you say is the one thing to remember?
I think the one thing is don't overlook anything. If you're spending money on something, find out if maybe there's an opportunity to take a deduction on it. I think a lot of people just kind of gloss over, I'm just going to put in my W-2 and I'm done. There may be something you're not seeing. If you've got a kid in college or whatever it is, think about it, ask somebody, go online, Google it, find out. There's probably a deduction worth checking out anyway.
Brad Huffman with Future Finances. Brad, thanks so much.